Welcome to the Burnout, where we help teachers and education professionals recharge their purpose, revise their passion, and regain their power. The show where we tackle the problems in education, one solution at a time. I'm your host, Kendria Johnson, and we look forward to helping you beat the burnout. And now it is that time again for us to talk about the burnout. I am your host, Kendria Johnson. I am your teacher coach. I make good teachers great by bringing them out of burnout back into a balanced life. And on today's show, we have my friend, Manohar Grundy. I think he said I got that right. And he is a teacher. He is an author. He's written a book, and he's here to talk about, his perspective on what we need to do to fix our spiritual and emotional lives. Welcome, sir. How are you today?
Uh, Thanks, Kendria, for inviting me, and I'm doing good.
Doing good? All right. So
Yeah.
tell us about who you are,
Yeah.
what how you show up in the world, and what do you have to offer this subject? Because we talk about here how to fix ourselves. We talk about a lot of self-care here. So talk
Yeah.
about who you are, why you're here, and how you show up in the world, and what do you want to contribute to the conversation of healthcare and self-care. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kendria, again for inviting me. My
Sure.
name is Manohar. I'm from India. So I'm working in the software industry, and actually, two, 4 years back, exactly in 2019, I was struggling with insomnia. I was like actually waiting to go to sleep while my family sleeps, but I couldn't go to sleep. So that was my struggling phase where I was so desperate to fix my problem. But then you can pretty sure realize that the harder we try to sleep, the harder it becomes. But because of this, I was having a lot of issues. I was losing hair. I was having digestion issues. I was pretty low on energy and all those kinds of things. So just like everyone, I wanted a quick fix in form of a sleeping pill. So I just searched a doctor who would give me a sleeping pill. But then instead of searching a psychiatrist, I searched for a psychologist who helped me change my thought patterns and all those things. But still, that was also not helping me. I had to uh, be sent to a psychiatrist. And then he diagnosed me that I was on anxiety. So he gave me some anti-anxiety tablets, kind of thing. But then the beauty is, before even working with the psychiatrist, I went and started the practice of meditation. So these sessions with my psychologist definitely helped. But then the biggest game changer for me was the practice of meditation. When I just meditated few minutes before going to sleep, that was when became a game changer for me. So the anxiety that was there before going to sleep slowly got reduced. And then the vicious circle of anxiety feeding insomnia and insomnia feeding anxiety was totally gone. And from there, my sleep schedule started going back to normal. And as you mentioned, I have also written a book called My Sleepless Nights, A Story of Victory Over Insomnia. This book is available on Amazon.
Make sure you get a copy of that book. Can everybody see it? Hold it up one more time. Hold it up one more time. All right. Now I'm gonna have all this information in the chat and the links and everything, but just get a good look at that so you don't get that mixed up with anybody else. And tell us about, things I heard in your speech, Manohar, was insomnia. I've had that, check. Anxiety, I've had that, check.
True.
And I've seen a psychiatrist, I've done that, check. And now, sir, I am on the journey with meditation with you. Tell us about some of those things that you do to help people. If I was your client, let's say, and I come to you with anxiety, and a lot of teachers, shout out to all my teachers out there, we suffer from anxiety a lot. Now, insomnia, I don't know for sure, but I definitely had it. But, tell us how you would actually help us, walk us through the journey of what it takes to be able to help yourself get out of some of those patterns.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting question, Kendria. So the first thing what I would say, Kendria, is uh, especially when it comes to insomnia, people since you told you also had this issue, so I'm pretty sure that you were very desperate to go back to sleep. That actually never helps actually. So I create the distinction that the harder we try to sleep, the difficult it becomes. That is the first thing. But then I don't directly go into that. I just talk about topics here and there, about your favorite movies, about your childhood memories, your friends, and all those things, where I slowly calm down the amygdala of the brain. So amygdala is the fight or fight or flight part of the zone brain, which is responsible for creating all this desperation and running away and doing all those things. So there I calm down that part, and then I have very light conversations, and then I talk about this part. And then related to anxiety, the first thing what I would recommend, Kendra, is box breathing. This is a very good breathing technique where what you do is you inhale for 4 seconds for the count of four. One, two, three, four. You inhale for the count of four, hold for the count of four. One, two, three, four. Then exhale for the count of four. One, two, three, four. And then hold again for the count of four. So one, two, three, four. So this technique actually, when you do it, the heartbeat that is racing faster and faster kind of slows down. And then the other thing which I recommend is called as alternate nostril breathing, where all you do is you close your left nostril and inhale. I'm sorry, I'm closing my right nostril and inhaling with my left nostril. Then I close this left nostril and exhale from the right nostril. And this is called as alternate nostril breathing, where what it does is it balances the energy within the system, and then you will be able to get over this challenges. And then typically one of the main reason of burnout is uh, you have basically lot of things to do and
Mm-hmm.
very little time.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely one of the thing. So the thing is we have to find out a way for basically, like Warren Buffett said this very beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
So write down the top 25 goals that you want to achieve,
Mm-hmm.
and then sleep over for one day, and then cross out the 20 which you think are not relevant, and just work on the top 5 goals. So that is the problem, is when we don't prioritize and we do everything, that is when we have this issue of burnout. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
cross out things that are really not that important, and then do the top 5 things is what I would say.
Manohar, you have some really, really great advice. And I absolutely love I call it, you call it box breathing. I've done that in some of my workshops before. I didn't call it that. I just called it inhaling and, for four and exhaling for four and then, spinning it out and then holding it for, I didn't know it had a name, but, we learn something every day. And so also I wanted you to go back to the list of things you're saying to do. If you were to teach someone a routine, okay, let's say I'm suffering, I'm coming to you and I just need help and you told me all these great things. What would you do? What would you tell that person to do first thing in the morning? Because to me, I don't know about you, but first thing in the morning is the best time to meditate because you're getting things in your head. I like to call it my depositing time. I deposit in my head what I want to happen that day. Because I used
Yeah.
to be, the person that allowed the world to dictate how my feelings go. So if I was having a bad morning, it was because it was too much traffic or the kids were getting on my nerves or something. And I allowed the circumstances around me to make my day bad. Now it's a totally different situation. I get up in the morning and I meditate on the day I want to have. I'm gonna have a great day. I'm gonna have no traffic today. I'm gonna get to work. They're gonna have a banana when I get to the school. Da da da. So I
Yeah.
want you to. I have a routine, but I want you to tell my listeners what is a good routine and how to start, and then I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so, Kendria, like you said about the routine, I'm more of an evening person where I have my routines in the evening. But I definitely think the routines could be the more or less the same. I mean, you can definitely implement. One of the thing which I would definitely recommend is the practice of gratitude. Uh, what happens when you practice the gratitude is our brain is a problem seeking machine, and it wants to solve a problem. I mean, basically move away from pain and move us towards pleasure. So when you start the day with a feeling that I haven't achieved this, I haven't achieved that, or so many kinds of things, the problem is your brain starts getting going in an overdrive. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you uh, end the day with a practice of gratitude, what
Mm-hmm.
happens is our brain relaxes, and then it allows us for getting good night's sleep. And the other thing, like you already talked about in the workshop about breathing techniques, the I would definitely recommend breathing techniques. And
Yeah.
my routine in the morning is more of I have a a kind of a liter of water,
Mm-hmm.
because when you sleep, the thing what happens is you lose lot of fluids. So
Mm.
the first thing you should be doing is replenish your body with a lot of water. So that is one thing which I would recommend. And the second thing I would recommend, like, is the practice of gratitude. And
Mm-hmm.
then of course if you can plan for your day, that definitely helps. And morning, as far as possible, if you expose yourself to bright sunlight, so natural sunlight, if
Mm-hmm.
you expose yourself, and then as the night progresses, the if you expose yourself to less and less light, you will have good chances of having a good night's sleep.
I love it. I love all of that advice. I love everything about what you just said. So, one of the reasons why I started this podcast is because I didn't have money to go to the doctor. Okay, those kind of psychiatrists I was telling you about, I had to pay for those out of my own pocket, and they were expensive. And so
Okay.
when I figured out about breathing and meditation and, of course, prayer, and I added that to my prayer. I added meditation and breathing to my prayer. Everything started to mellow out. Now, it didn't happen overnight. I'm sure you can attest to that. It doesn't happen
Yes.
overnight because I was suffering from anxiety for a good, decade. So it took a while for me to get to the point where I can just fall asleep just like that now. But I'm proud of that. But it takes work, guys. It takes work. But you guess what? It's free. It's free. Learning how to meditate, learning how to breathe, like he said, the box breathing. I recommend that one highly. I love what you said about the sunlight, getting some fresh air, and getting just getting up and having a routine and drinking water. I do that. The only problem is though, I go to the bathroom a little bit too much in the night, but that's okay. I wake up refreshed and hydrated, right? But all of those are really good. Is there any other closing advice before we let you go today? Because I know you're a busy man. Is there anything else that you want to share with my listeners before we close today?
Yeah, so Kendria, I would just like to end saying that, like you already touched upon it, that there is nothing called as a magic routine or a magic pill, and an overnight transformation happens. So the biggest thing is you have to persist with whatever practice. So be it gratitude, be it meditation, be it box breathing or anything. If you persist with those practices regularly, and if you do them over and over repeatedly, so when will the transformation happen? We don't know, but certainly it will happen. That is what I can definitely say.
All right, sorry, I was muted. I was really talking too. That's gonna do it for us today. Thank you so much, Mr. Grandi, for coming on to my show. This has been the Burnout with your host, Kendria Johnson, where we help teachers recharge their purpose, revive their passion, and rediscover their power. That's gonna do it for me today. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great one. Till
Bye.
next time.